Good evening and welcome to the Village Board of Trustees meeting. Today is Monday, January 4th, 2021. Happy New Year. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let us remain standing as we always do and think about our servicemen and women serving our country. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to have a roll call vote. Trustee Alpert.
Present.
Trustee Barone.
Present.
Trustee Corrigan.
Present.
Trustee Sauberman.
Present.
And I'm here with the village clerk, and Rob Magrino is on along with our department heads and Mr. Michael Genito. I think we have everyone. Okay, thank you. Happy New Year again to everyone. Next upcoming meeting, a joint meeting of the Village Board of Trustees and the Suffern Planning Board is scheduled for January 13th at 7 p.m. to discuss development plans for the quarry property located here in Suffern. The next workshop meeting is scheduled for Monday, January 25th at 7 p.m. And the next regular meeting of the Village Board of Trustees will be held Monday, February 1st at 7 p.m. Is everybody good with that? Okay. Fire Department. Do we have Chief Kaufer?
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Hi, Chief.
Hi, Jeremy.
How are you? Happy New Year to everybody.
You as well.
Thank you. Just one quick item on the agenda tonight, requesting the acceptance of the resolution giving the fire department permission to train at Sacred Heart School, which is now currently vacant.
So I have the resolution authorizing the Suffern Fire Department to conduct training at Sacred Heart School.
Trustee Sauberman says yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second, Corrigan.
Trustee Corrigan, any further on the discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
All right.
Chief, I just want to say thank you once again to your department, the Hook and Ladder and the engine company on great jobs over this past week in regards to the two fires, man. That dedication and commitment that you guys have is unbelievable and a true testament to volunteerism and the whole village, the village board and the whole village appreciates everything that the Suffern volunteers do. Thank you.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Guys did a great job.
Yes, that house, I walked by it just because it's a normal dog route for a walk. Holy moly.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of fire on arrival. I mean, we did the best we could, but
Yeah,
Without injuries to anyone.
correct.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Thankfully.
And your
yeah,
family and everything. So
correct. Yes.
completely amazing.
Thank you.
Right.
All the credit to my membership. They did all the work.
Were the two fires connected, in that same structure?
Unfortunately, I can't speak about that at this time.
Okay.
When information becomes available, I'm sure it'll be released.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night.
You as well.
Good night.
Okay, next up is Culture and Recreation. Ms.
Good evening,
Mills.
Mayor. Good evening, Village Board.
Good evening.
So a few things that we have coming up or on the agenda for this evening. We have Facebook updates. I put an update on the Facebook page today for anyone that's out there that would like to get updates on village happenings, village news, emergency situations and things that come up. I put it out on the Facebook that they can email us in recreation to get on our email blast. And for most of you that know, we send out our emails every week and it gives information on the village. And also we send out emails as there is emergencies. We put out something last night for the snow, the day before for the snow. So we just want to make sure people know that there is an email blast and it has information for residents. So if anyone is interested that is not on our email address, our email blast, they can email me at cmills@suffernny.gov, and they can get on the email blast and we'll include you on those coming up. We have the constant contact email blasts are going great. One thing that's new to that Nancy just sent out this past week, we have a new section called the Wellness Corner. So we would like to try to get feedback from residents on their feedback on programs that they would like to work on for wellness. Nancy's looking for recipes or ideas or programs that people use for wellness for the new year. So if there's anyone that has any comments or any questions or any feedback that they would like to participate in, you can email Nancy at nchristopher@suffernny.gov. And we're happy to hear all suggestions, ideas that you might have, and we can share them. When you do send it back, let us know if you want us to share them with your name or if you want to share them anonymously. But it's a nice way for people to kind of give back information and for us to hear from you. So if you're interested, let us know. The programs that we have coming up, we have chair exercise classes on Mondays, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. over at the center. We have chair yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the center at 10 a.m. We have chair yoga by Zoom, and that's on Fridays at 10 a.m. We have a kids activity that we're looking to do on Saturday, January 16th. We originally, and maybe might be able to, try to do gingerbread house decorating. But as we've been finding out, and I know Elaine's here on the call as well, we are finding it very hard to get gingerbread projects. So we're finding that people were doing a lot of activities over the break. So we're trying to get it to be a gingerbread activity, but it might change, but we will do something on the 16th. We'll get a flyer out and get ideas of what we're going to do. That again will be RSVP because we will be keeping the numbers down as with all the programs that we're doing. So more information on that you'll see also on Facebook and the school's backpack. We have seniors bingo. We're going to do that on January 22nd. That's a Friday, and we're going to do that at the center. We will again limit numbers. So that will be an RSVP. We'll be sending that information out this week. So we will have RSVP for that event. We have a seniors movie coming up. We're going to do something at the center at 12:30 on January 28th. That's a Thursday. And we will send it out. We will be asking for RSVPs. So we aren't able to have it open to the amount of people we used to before, but we still want to do programs where people can come and enjoy the center, and we're going to have that open on the 28th. We're going to have a children's yoga class, and that will be led by Nancy, and that again, the numbers will be limited, but we were fortunate this summer that we worked with Miss Jennifer at the Suffern Library, and she gave us some great books for children's yoga, so we'll be able to hand those out to people. So that's going to be something fun that we have coming up over at the center. We're working with a Girl Scout troop on a great project for 2021. They are looking to come into the village and do some good programs. So, Mayor, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about that yet. We've got some great things coming up for that. So the troop leaders would like to meet with us and try to give us some more information on the project, but that's going to be a great one coming up this year. Speaking of scouts, we would like to congratulate Frank Tassone, who is a Suffern High School student, and he recently completed his Eagle Scout project over at Brooklands Park. He did a great job. I sent pictures out the other day. He worked great with his troop leaders, his troop families, and they did a fantastic job over there at Brooklands. So we want to thank Frank. In the spring, we will do a small ceremony to welcome that new addition over to Brooklands. But if anyone has any time, or if you have any, any time to go over to see it, it's a fantastic little project that he put together. It's a nice way to enter into Brooklands Park. It's a great new entrance. So if you have the opportunity, I'd like to offer for everybody to go over and see that. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Joe Hunt, to Topper Crotty, and Eddie Uvega over at DPW. They volunteered their time on the weekends to help the project get underway, and I would like to thank them for their help with that. So I think that is it for me for now. We are also going to be working with the Suffern Community Foundation, which Bruce Simon, I know the president of the foundation, will be speaking later. We're trying to, again, get into more wellness programs and ways to work with the public on different events this year. And that is one of them. So when Bruce talks about the foundation, we're trying to work with them as well on that, trying to get more ideas. And a note that I sent out this afternoon, AARP, I wanted to make sure people, residents knew about this early. AARP, as you know, they used to use Loughlin in the past. They also went to the library and were able to give free tax preparation for seniors. Unfortunately, due to everything that's happening this year, they won't be doing that this year. They are not going to be going up to Loughlin, and I don't believe they will be going up to the library. So I'm just getting that word out to let people know about that. And that is it.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
That was
Mayor.
a lot of information, but we have it.
We're trying.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Police Chief Loughlin. There you are.
Hello,
Hi,
good
Chief.
evening, board. Happy New Year, everyone.
Well,
In the month of December, we responded to 602 calls for service. Our call types range from alarms, civil matters, community policing incidents, criminal mischiefs, custodial interferences, death investigations, disorderly persons, domestic disputes, driving while intoxicated investigations, emotionally disturbed persons, fights, several fires, unfortunately, fraud investigations, hazardous conditions, larcenies, motor vehicle accidents, medical calls, noise complaints, sex offenses, suspicious persons and incidents, warrant investigations, as well as a variety of other routine calls for service. We made several arrests this month, charging multiple individuals with driving while intoxicated, assault, criminal mischief, harassment, criminal contempt, unlawful imprisonment, and multiple traffic arrests. During this month, we also completed our police department holiday toy drive. Despite the challenges in running such a large toy drive posed by COVID-19, we were able to provide approximately 300 local families and well over 600 children with holiday toys. Many of these children would not have received gifts this holiday season, if not for the toy drive. I'd like to thank both Sergeant Genito and Sergeant Kiernan, who ran the toy drive for us, for making it a huge success. They both really stepped up and did a fantastic job of organizing the drive. In addition, we could not have pulled off such a large-scale event without the help of the Recreation Department and the Department of Public Works, who were both amazing with the amount of help that they provided. Lastly, I would be remiss if I did not recognize our department's volunteers and their families for assisting with the drive, as well as the generosity of the residents that donated toys. The toy drive could not have been done without the help and support of the community, and despite the challenges that COVID presented this year, the residents stepped up, as always, and made numerous children very happy this holiday season. So thank you to everyone that made the toy drive a huge success this year. I have a couple of agenda items that I'd ask the board to vote on. My first item is appointing Peter Barber as a part-time dispatcher. Mr. Barber was nominated by the board at the last village board meeting and has since received clearance from the Rockland County Department of Personnel for employment. So I would ask that the board votes on that resolution.
Okay, so I have the resolution in front of me appointing Peter Barber dispatcher, part-time. Whereas Rockland County Department of Personnel certified Peter Barber for the position of dispatcher part-time effective December 11th, 2021. Therefore be it resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby appoints Peter Barber to the position of dispatcher part-time at a starting pay rate of $20.60 per hour. Do I have a motion?
motion, trustee Alpert.
Trustee Alpert, do I have a second?
Second, trustee Sauberman.
Trustee Barone on the second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes, Chief.
Thank you. My next item is I would like to ask the board to nominate Matthew Imperio to the position of part-time police officer. Mr. Imperial recently retired from the town of Goshen Police Department with over 20 years of service. He brings a vast amount of experience, many certifications and advanced trainings with him, and we feel that he'll be a welcome asset to the police department.
So I have the resolution authorizing the nomination of Matthew Imperio to the position, authorizing the nomination, or is it an appointment, Chief? What did you say?
Nomination, Mayor.
Nomination. Okay, authorizing the nomination of Matthew Imperio to the position of police officer part-time. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, trustee Corrigan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Barone. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. My last agenda item is I would like to ask the board to nominate and appoint Michael Barry as a full-time police officer pending clearance by the Rockland County Department of Personnel. Mr. Barry is a village resident and is currently employed by the Rockland County Sheriff's Office.
The resolution nominating and appointing Michael Barry to the position of police officer full-time. Board of Trustees hereby nominates and appoints Michael Barry to the position of police officer full-time at a starting pay rate of $28.48 per hour, pending final certification of qualifications by Rockland County personnel. Do I have a motion?
Motion, trustee Barone.
Trustee Barone, do I have a second?
Second, trustee Alpert.
Trustee Alpert, any further discussion?
I just have a quick question. I may have asked this at the workshop, and I apologize if I forgot. Can you remind me who Mr. Barry will be replacing? Is that your position, your old position, or?
No, that will be to fill the pending vacancy of Detective Craig Long.
Craig Long. Okay, very good. That's right. We did discuss that, and I apologize for forgetting. Yeah.
No problem.
I have a question. Does a police officer in Suffern have to live in Suffern?
They're not required by law to live in Suffern, but this particular person is a village resident.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Chief,
Thank
just
you.
while you're here, once again, thank you. Thanks to the PBA, especially Sergeant Gina Tino and Sergeant Kiernan and the rest of the PBA, along with the CSCA, the Teamsters, and the Recreation Department on a great toy drive and making our residents, our village children, very happy. And you guys really put it together well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chief, while you're on the line, I have a question. I heard that there's some renovations that are going on at the police station.
Yes.
I don't believe any question of renovations came before the board that was voted on. So I was just concerned where the funds have been approved from for this.
So I believe that this was all discussed quite some time ago with Chief Osborne. There was a firearms auction where the police department received funds that were put into a seizure account to be used for law enforcement purposes. Right now, as of this point, we haven't expended any funds. We're just basically more or less in the planning stages. We're cleaning out, prepping for paint and so on and so forth. But I'd be happy to, send you guys an email tomorrow. We can go over everything. But as of now, we haven't expended any funding.
Okay, just because I do recall the funds that were discussed by former Chief Osborne, but I do know that it was just brought up as a topic. It was not something the board voted on.
Okay.
How we're going to apply those funds, even was not even
Okay.
voted
That
on.
was discussed, that the funds that from the auction we discussed the funding and the police department upgrades.
Correct. We talked about it, but we did not vote on it. I just want to make that clear. There was no vote taken by this board or the prior board. I just want to be clear about that.
But everyone accepted it and agreed to the upgrades of the renovations.
I don't know that that's a fact. I would like to review the tape, so to speak. I'll check it on YouTube. There was certainly no vote. There was just a discussion that this is what the chief would like to do.
We allocated the funds to the upgrades.
I don't believe we did that, Mayor.
Okay, we had to accept the funds at the same time. So we did accept the funds and then we allocated them.
I don't believe we allocated them.
Okay.
I'll check the video.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. Any further, Chief?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I believe, just to touch on, well, all right, let's move on. Mr. Mike Genito, treasurer,
Yes, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year.
happy new year.
We have 4 resolutions before you tonight. The first one is actually due to the COVID-19. A few of our residents who had some grievances for the Sewer Grievance Committee were not able to submit their application by the deadline of August 15th, I believe it is. In any event, they've requested that we extend that through March 1 of 2021. I spoke with our village attorney, Rob Magrino, and he saw no problem with that. It could be done, I believe, under the executive orders currently outstanding. And my office, of course, has no objection to it. So that's the first resolution.
Okay, so I have the resolution here authorizing the 2020 sewer rent appeals through March 1st, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Trustee Alpert, do I have a second?
Second, trustee Sauberman.
Trustee Sauberman, any further on the discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. The second resolution regards the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery, where we received almost $3 million in CDBG disaster recovery funds, and that is to harden our water treatment plant against disasters, as well as to provide some supplementary power, basically generators for critical areas of the village. Any event, we accepted the agreement. The mayor was authorized to sign it in accordance with a resolution adopted in September of 2020. One of the things that we did not do is establish the 2 projects, one of them for hardening of the water plants. That would be project 2021-005. And the other one is project 2021-006 for the generators.
So I have the resolution authorizing the GOSER capital projects 2021-005 and 2021-006. Do I have a motion?
Motion, Corrigan.
Trustee
Let's get this going.
Do I have a second?
Second, trustee Sauberman.
Trustee Sauberman, any further on the discussion?
Cannot wait for this to be done. It has been a long road.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Hope not. All right, thank you. Motion
Yeah.
passes.
Great. There's 2 more resolutions that are kind of related. The first one is, and I'll explain the situation. The water department has what's called telemetry alarms that advise the water plant operators of situations of water flow in the pump stations, the treatment plant, and so forth. And basically, currently, the current systems are run by copper wire, which is kind of outdated and subject to breakage and other damage. And as well, it takes a very long time to get them fixed if something goes wrong. We spend about $15,000 a year on the alarm systems currently in place. For approximately $29,000 and change, we can get a brand new cellular-based system that would have a payback of less than 2 years. And thereafter, we would save money every year in terms of the actual annual operating costs. So this resolution, the first one, is to authorize an amendment to the water fund budget, where we would take approximately $32,000 from the contingency account and provide it over to the equipment account in the water fund to purchase and install this new cellular system. The $32,000 would include some additional extra costs that may come up. It's a contingency, if you will, over roughly the $29,000 installation costs.
Okay, so I have the resolution amending the water fund budget for purchase and installation of a water telemetry system. Do I have a motion?
Motion, trustee Barone.
Trustee Barone, do I have a second?
Second, trustee Alpert.
Trustee Alpert, any further on the discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the second resolution is related to the first one that I just mentioned, and that is to authorize myself to sign, with the approval of the mayor, designation of the mayor, to sign the water department distribution system telemetry agreement with the firm that would actually provide the product and make the installation. This particular contract is not subject to competitive bidding due to the extensive engineering professional services required.
So I have the resolution authorizing the execution of a contract for the purchase and installation of a water telemetry system. Do I have a motion?
Trustee Barone.
Motion.
Trustee
Second.
Barone, second on
Second.
trustee Corrigan. Any further on the discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Mr. Genito.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Next up, Mr. Charles Sawicki, Department of Public Works.
Charles, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, good evening. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year, Charles.
The first item is authorizing the application for payment number 1 in the amount of $85,500 to Convino and Sons Construction Company, Inc. for the Wayne Avenue sidewalk project.
So I have the resolution authorizing payment number 1 to Gavino and Sons Construction Company for the Wayne Avenue Sidewalk Project. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Trustee Corrigan.
Trustee Corrigan, do I have a second?
Second, trustee Barone.
Trustee Barone, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. Next item would be for the mayor to appoint Gregory Travell to the Street and Refuse Department vacant labor position.
I have the resolution appointing Gregory Travell as laborer effective January 19th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Trustee Alpert, do I have a second?
Second, trustee Sauberman.
Trustee Sauberman, any further discussion?
How many additional labor positions still remain to be filled, or is this the last one?
This was the last position.
That's great news. Thank you. Good job on that, Charles. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Once again, Charles, thank you and the crews for all of the snow removal and keeping the streets safe. They did a great job over the past couple of storms that we had and the, keeping the road safe and de-iced. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next is the village attorney, Mr. Magrino.
Okay, good evening and Happy New Year to everyone.
Here.
The only item that I had on was for setting the public hearing to consider the changes to Chapter 254 of the code with respect to vehicles and traffic. I believe it has been circulated to the board members.
Yeah.
But it still needs some work and discussion, so we can do that. But the public hearing will be February 1st at 7:05.
So I have
I'm sorry. I was just going to ask, are we planning to actually vote on it at that point, or just open the hearing and it'll continue on for a a while? Okay, because this.
Yeah, as you saw, it's pretty comprehensive,
Yeah.
shall we say? So I think it'll be good to have the meeting, hear from the public, and then maybe put it over at least once.
Okay. There was some items, I was reading through it myself, and there were some items that seemed to contradict themselves. I'm not sure, so I definitely want to bring those up when we're discussing it.
Absolutely.
Not prepared to vote on it yet. Thank you.
So I have the resolution authorizing a public hearing to be held February 1st, 2021 to consider amendments to Chapter 254 of the Code of the Village of Suffern entitled Vehicles and Traffic. Do I have a motion?
Motion, trustee Barone.
Trustee Sauberman.
Trustee Sauberman, do I have a second?
Second, trustee Barone.
Trustee Barone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next I'd like to open up the meeting to public participation. If there is someone from the public that would like to speak, please do so by raising your hand, and when authorized, state your name and address, and we have a 4-minute time limit.
I have someone that I know quite well, Suzanne Joyce. She's unable to put her questions in this evening. Is it okay if I ask them for her, or should I have her email the board? How do you want me to handle this? She kind of wanted them done tonight, but.
Well, you could put them out there, I guess, and plus email the board. So, we'll have it both ways. How's that?
Okay, that's perfect. All right, so her questions are and she's on Hillside, but I don't know her house address. So her questions are regarding Novartis, and she's wondering about the property taxes for Novartis. Are they back on the tax roll 100%? I didn't think so.
Novartis is on the tax rolls.
Right, but what about the back taxes, and are they on back to 100%? I'm just asking the questions.
This is Michael Genito. I could probably answer those questions for you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, essentially, Novartis has always been on our tax roll. They have had reductions in their assessed valuation from the time they were Novartis and as Novartis moved out. However, they are on the tax roll. As far as the village taxes are guaranteed by the county. So we always collect 100% of our taxes. So yes, they are on the tax roll, and we have been collecting 100% of whatever they've owed to this village of Suffern.
Okay, thank you. And then
I'm sorry, Joe.
No, I'm sorry.
How about you email the board, and then we'll answer those directly. How's that sound?
I think so, because there's a couple other questions that are a little bit, I'd like to get more. I told her that I would try to get through the questions just because she's not feeling well and she really wanted the questions asked, but I'll do that with her.
Okay.
I'll take care of that, and then we can just send it out, and I'll have it with Mike Genito and Rob and everybody.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Suzanne. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So we are open to audience.
I have someone on an iPhone here, Mayor. I'm going to ask them to please identify themselves and where they live. And you can unmute yourself at this point if you like.
Hi, Mike and board. Happy New Year. It's Gertrude Seiferblatt on Parkside Drive. It's been stated that Mr. Glickle would not work for the village unless the board was unanimous in contracting with him. And he has reiterated in past meetings that he would, quote unquote, have no part in whatever personal differences between members of this board. We have paid just under $60,000 for less than 8 months of limited part-time work. That's a substantial amount of money when this board is conflicted on whether he is the best candidate for the position. Mayor Markunas, you have twice voted no to this contract. Could you please address this?
You can go through all your questions at this time, Ms. Seiferblatt.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in the audience?
Well, Mayor, I was hoping you would address it.
At the end of the audience participation?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't misunderstood that. I apologize. Thanks,
Okay.
Mayor.
I see at least 2 other raised hands.
Yes, I was Gertrude finished?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Okay, very good. The next one that we have here is Lance Weinstein. Lance, you can unmute yourself.
Hey, Mike. Thank you.
Yes, good evening.
At the last workshop meeting, the trustees voted on and passed a resolution 167 of 2020. This resolution was about the final cash payment to a former employee, Clark Osborne. When you reference the amount, you just indicated X amount. I think in being transparent, we should know as a taxpayer what exactly X amount is.
Okay, do you have any other further questions?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Okay, so we'll wait until the end to answer all the questions.
Mayor, we have a question, or I'm sorry, Joe Hunt is on the line. Joe, you can unmute yourself.
Happy New Year, Mayor and Board.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I
Thanks for
want
your
to
hard
put
work.
2020 behind all of us. Looking forward to 2021, working hand in foot with the board and the mayor, trying to help alleviate. And it looks like the CSE is the second biggest union, the way Chief Loughlin's going with hiring people. Unfortunately, I got to say that's an awesome job that you guys are building our first responders up that way. It's awesome. But again, moving forward in 2021, I think we need better communication between the unions, the board, and the mayor, so we can continue to thrive in every road leading to Suffern. And I mean that. You know, the CSEA membership doesn't only work for the village, it works for the tax base. And we do participate, and I could say open-heartedly, 98% of every event that happens here in Suffern, from any Boy Scout, Girl Scout, to Bruce Simons, to the mayor, to recreation. And we work hand in foot and support recreation in any way we can, whether it be financing one of her children projects or buying material to do something just to alleviate some of the stress on this village. I can't overemphasize the commitment, not from me, but from the membership here, from the girls in the office, to the guys on the garbage truck, to the guys flushing toilets, to the guys making fresh water. We're all here to work with each and every one of you in any way we can. So we want to keep this team Suffern and all roads leading to Suffern. Open communication with all. Enjoy the New Year's. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, and I will talk to you all soon. God bless.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Mayor, I believe Bruce Simon also wanted to have
I
a
was
comment in
muted.
there.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, thank you, Joe.
I'm sorry, Michael, I cut you off. I was muted when I was talking.
Quite all right. I believe Bruce Simon also wanted to submit a comment or two.
Okay.
That's a tough act to follow with Joe.
Isn't
what
it
we can.
always?
And I do want to thank Joe for he and everything his staff does. I want to thank the police department, the fire department. This is an amazing village, and we couldn't do it without all of them. I just want to very briefly say that after a lot of hard work, the website for the Suffern Marathon is now live. Go to suffernmarathon.com. You can sign up for the marathon. There's a very simple form to fill out. You'll get emails, and we're on the way. 26 miles, 26 weeks. Get it in, get it done. I look forward to seeing all of you participating as well. Yes, board, I'm talking to you.
Can I add a dog into the marathon and see if he does it too?
Sure.
All right.
Teams are
Canines,
fine. Teams are welcome.
canines are fine.
Steve, families are welcome. Everybody's welcome. That's
All
it.
right.
That's all I wanted to say. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Happy New Year, Bruce.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Okay, then. Michael, there's no one else?
I don't see any other hands raised, Mayor.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We're closing this section of the audience participation in response, I believe, to Ms. Imbablat's question in regards to the contractual obligations that were made with the Village of Suffern Board of, with the Village of Suffern and Richard Glickle. That is a board decision. You are correct. I did vote no. The board did vote 4 in favor. And we did enter into a contractual agreement with Mr. Glickle to provide the legal services. In regards to Chief Osborne's payout for Mr. Lance Weinstein, just let me double check. Mr. Magrino, are you,
Yeah, I'm here.
okay,
Yeah, that number, I do not believe it's been paid. I don't think it's, we'll certainly disclose that. I know Mr. Weinstein put in a FOIL, and that will be responded to
Okay.
once it's paid. I don't have the agreement in front of me after the question was asked. I want to find it because Mr. Glickle worked on it, but we're going to have an executive session, so I'll discuss it with him at that point, his position. Again, I don't have the contents of the agreement here. It will be revealed. It's just a matter of the timing. That's all.
okay,
So I just ask you to hold off, and Mr. Weinstein, either if you could wait till after, we come back for executive session to either answer or wait until the check is issued.
okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Magrino. Okay, trustees. Does anyone from the board have any questions?
Nothing from me tonight.
Okay,
I'd like to follow up on a resident had inquired about the noise complaints from the shooting range. We discussed this at length at the workshop meeting approximately a month ago. And there was some information I know we were waiting on to confirm, like, I think there was an issue with the ownership of the property, which turned out to be New Jersey Transit, I believe, and so forth. There was some questions that were still left in the air, left floating, and the resident did email me again today, actually yesterday, I believe. I responded today, and I just wanted to, I suggest, I don't see them on the list here of who's attending Zoom. I suggested that they call in and get an update, but I guess on their behalf, I'm requesting an update, maybe from Mr. Magrino.
okay,
Sure. I know we did, I won't get into too much detail, but I did speak with the chief and with Steve Conley about it. There were two questions. One was about the use itself. And is Mr. Conley on? I'm not sure if he's
yes, I believe he is.
He is, we'll get him unmuted.
Right. I'm just going to, while you're doing that, I'm just going to ask Mr. Conley to address the issue with respect to the use of the property and the zoning. And then I'll ask the chief on the noise ordinance, but I'll also weigh in on that.
Steve, I believe you can speak.
Okay, good evening, board. Happy New Year. Go ahead, Rob. I was listening to you.
No, just in terms of the issue that, in terms of pre-existing non-conforming, what's your, to the extent you looked into the use of the property, what did you find out?
Right. I mean, it was kind of difficult to determine how long it's been there. I mean, from what information I gathered and was told, it's probably well over 70 years. And if that's the case, I went back into some of the old zoning ordinances to try to find exactly what it was zoned for and what was permitted there. And of course, they're nowhere near as clear as they are today. But it appears as though it may be a pre-existing non-conforming use. It may have been permitted back then and has just been continued, since then, which would kind of grandfather it in. Other than that, I really wasn't able to find out much about it.
Okay, thanks. I don't know if Steve, that answers your question, but as we discussed earlier, that's one issue in terms of addressing it. It's not as simple as saying, okay, you're not allowed to do it anymore for that reason. But again, I think he can continue to look at that. The other was the noise aspect. I don't know if the chief can weigh in terms of complaints or the sufficiency, in terms of meeting the code for noise disturbance. And I'll also take some of the heat off the chief. Even if they write a summons for that, it going to court and proving it, frankly, it depends upon the what the court finds. If it's these statutes by nature are somewhat subjective. They almost have to be, they say, noise, odor, things of that nature. So, whether or not the noise is sufficient to rise to the level of a prosecutable offense, as I sit here, I'm not sure, but I'll ask the chief to weigh in terms of what they've found so far.
That's sort of the issue that we're having with this whole thing is the way the noise code reads. It's very subjective. It has to be an unreasonable noise. To my knowledge, this is only one resident that's complained about it. It's not like we're getting multiple complaints, so on and so forth. So to meet that threshold that it's an unreasonable noise is somewhat tough to do in this case.
If I can interject, years ago, there was this same conversation, and I believe it's turned over, Rob, on ownership since about 6 to 7, 8 years ago, maybe. The original club was willing to put in, and maybe we're just going at this the wrong way, and maybe we work with them and ask them if they can put some more soundproofing in. So
Right,
instead of shutting them down, perhaps we can look at it and say, is there anything you can do to help us so that we can help you?
Right, and I think that was part of the discussion as well. I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off. That was part of the discussion in terms of, the use issue, whether or not it's prosecutable offense, from a code enforcement perspective. Again, the third thing is to, as you say, try to work with them and see if they can come up with some, measures that might help. I think Chief spoke to them about that.
I'm pretty sure that it changed hands from the gentleman that I was speaking with and working with, and then all of a sudden it got sold. I think it was Dominic I was speaking with years ago. So perhaps maybe the way to go about this is how can we work together as a unit instead of prosecuting someone?
So just so the board is aware, I had some discussions with the president of the Sportsmen's Association, and they've put quite a bit of money and work into the range over the last, I would say, year and a half or so. They've extended the roofing. They have plans of soundproofing that new roofing that they put in. They kind of were held up because of COVID. They had some trouble getting materials and so forth. I believe they have plans to soundproof that section of the roof that they put in, hopefully in the spring. And they seem very willing to they want to be good neighbors also, is the impression that I'm getting from them. They seem receptive to doing these kind of things. Again, it was just, the timing is a bit off because they ran into some delays due to getting materials because of COVID. But they are aware that there has been a complaint. And like I said, hopefully in the spring, some of the additional soundproofing that they're planning on doing will help mitigate some of this.
So they seem to be willing to work with the community, and that's great news. That's great news. That's a fantastic starting point. Good. Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any further from the trustees? Okay, next is as the mayor, I have the resolution accepting the resignation letter of Mike Stock effective December 28th. Do I have a motion?
Motion, Trustee Corrigan.
Trustee Corrigan, do I have a second?
Second, Trustee Alpert.
Trustee Alpert, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So the next resolution is the appointment of Adam Gordon as a fire safety inspector. I just right before the meeting, I had a discussion with the building inspector and department head Steve Conley, which we need to further discuss this appointment. I would like to table that resolution for now. Does any of the board members have an issue with that, or if you have any questions? No? Okay, so I'm going to pull that agenda item and that resolution. The next resolution I have is the reappointing of Mike Stock as Code Enforcement Officer 2, part-time, effective January 5th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Trustee Alpert, do I have a second?
Second, trustee Corrigan.
Trustee Corrigan, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Aye.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'm making a motion to enter into an executive session in regards to police personnel matters. Do I have a motion?
Motion, trustee Barone.
Trustee Barone,
Second, trustee Sauberman.
second trustee Sauberman. Motion to exit executive session.
Motion Corrigan.
Motion trustee Corrigan, second
Second, trustee Alpert.
trustee Alpert. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. To further answer Lance Weinstein's question during public participation, Mr. Magrino, if you will answer.
Right, we understand you made a FOIL request. The payment has not been made. It would be made, I believe, sometime this week. So once that payment is made, we will provide that information to you. So you'll get it.
Perfect, thank you. Is there anything further to come before the board? Motion to close the meeting?
Motion, trustee Alpert.
Trustee Alpert. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second,
trustee Sauberman.
Sauberman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Year.
Stay safe.
I know.